Listeners might recognize the name John Longhurst. He is a longtime faith columnist at the Winnipeg Free Press. He is also among 4 Manitobans soon to be named members of the Order of Canada. Longhurst is being recognized for his work in promoting positive interfaith relations. And John joins us in studio to talk more about it. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Faith.
You have been waiting how long to be able to talk about this publicly?
About 2 months.
2 months. What's that like when you heard that this was an honor that would be done?
Totally surprised to start with, and then amazed and humbled to be in the company of so many distinguished Canadians.
Do you know what it means for you? Is it clear to you yet?
No, not really. Even though I've had 2 months to think about it, it really is quite unusual.
One of the things they do before your investiture is they want to read a paragraph about you. Talk about your career. How long have you been covering religion? I imagine they'll be talking about that during your investiture.
I've been the columnist on the faith page at the Free Press since 2003. I started off sharing the page with Karen Toole. I've been the only columnist for probably about 17 or 18 years. And it's been a real joy and a pleasure and a privilege, really, to tell the stories about people of faith in Winnipeg and Manitoba, and to reflect on what that means for them and what that means for the whole community.
Is it hard to share that part of and reflect that part of our community?
No, not at all, because people are doing so many interesting and amazing things because of their faith, and this is right across the spectrum as I speak about it. No, it's the stories are there. You can't barely turn around without bumping into some sort of faith angle related to a story. Sometimes, most of the time that's good, but sometimes it's also negative. But religion is always hovering somewhere in the stories that all of us are interested in and that we cover.
And I'm sure people approach you and say, why aren't you doing this story? What do you say to them when they ask you that question?
Well, first of all, I'm glad that they are telling me stories because that's the only way we find out about things for the most part. But secondly, there's only so much space and time that's available to us to tell the stories. The one thing I do need people to do, and you would know this from your own work, is don't tell me the day before about this amazing event you have tomorrow.
Right.
We need more time, more heads up, so that we can tell those stories and we can do a good job of it.
When you look at the role that this kind of work plays going into 2024, because you're retired, but you're not really retired. You're continuing your work. And in this world that we're in, where there is divisive politics, and then you insert faith into it, what do you think the role of the stories that you tell into 2025? What do you envision?
Well, the first thing I'll say is that Winnipeg is in a fortunate position. The Winnipeg Free Press is the only major newspaper, only daily newspaper in Canada that has a faith page and that has a faith beat, and that's me. I'm the only religion reporter left in the country who's doing it on a regular basis. So that means that those faith stories, all the different perspectives from the Muslim, Jewish, Baha'i, Sikh, Hindu, Christian, you name it, communities are shared in the Free Press, and people have an opportunity to know what the world looks like from those different perspectives. And there's nowhere else in Canada where they can do that.
The announcement about the Order of Canada described your work as reducing hate and helping readers see the humanity in every person. When you hear that, where does that land for you?
It lands hard and it lands soft at the same time. That's my goal. There's no way to prove that my reporting is reducing hate, but it's my goal. It's my goal to try to put a human face on the people in this community so that we see each other as real people, not as perspectives or religions or faiths or politics, but rather as people who have deep values, deep commitments to values, and have families and worry about the prices of things and everything else that normal people do, so that we all feel like we're in this together. It doesn't matter what faith we come from.
We're in the holiday season where inevitably folks will interact with people who they may disagree with when it comes to faith. How do you, when you think of your career, when you think of all of the questions you have specifically crafted, as you ask people, your characters in your pieces, what advice would you give people who expect to interact with someone they vehemently disagree with?
Well, first of all, be civil, obviously. But secondly, to remember that all of the great religions in the world share one common thing, and it's something that Christians call the golden rule, which is to treat other people the way you want to be treated. And if you remember that when you go into a conversation with someone you disagree with, well, if you would like them to listen to you, make sure you listen to them.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
And I hope you will make space to celebrate and find whatever version of appreciation it is for you for being named to the Order of Canada.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Faith.
John Longhurst, faith columnist for the Winnipeg Free Press. He's been talking to us about his upcoming appointment into the Order of Canada. Among other Manitobans given this honour include Orland Backstrom, a longtime disability rights advocate and champion, Kenneth Mould, founder and president of Canadian Animal Blood Bank, and sports broadcaster Scott Oake, co-founder of the Bruce Oake Recovery Centre and dedicated advocate for addictions recovery. We're at 29 minutes after 5 o'clock here on CBC Radio 1. Chloe Friesenbach, hello.
Hello. I'm just thinking about how John Longhurst is on the same list as Ryan Reynolds.
It's true.
Just equal amounts of cool.
John, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm going to meet Ryan if he comes to the celebration when I'm invested. So if you have any questions for him, make sure to send them on to me.
We're going to talk during the news. I have, I'm sure, a list of things. We have questions. The commute, how's it going so far?
Yes.